Hey Stampin' friends, happy Fri-YAY! Today we're gonna make a fun fold scene card using the new Scalloped Wishes stamp set and dies. And I can't wait to show you how fun this is. We're mainly using stamps, ink, and paper, so you know that's one of my favorites. So let's get started. Okay, so here is the Scalloped Wishes stamp set and dies. And you know, if you know me, if you watch me, that I got these because I love the dies. Oh my goodness, these fun scallops we can use for anything. They'll go with any set that we have, and we can make all kinds of fun creations. We're gonna use some of these cattails. It's got some awesome dragonfly pieces that we can put together. And then of course, this stitched scallop stamp. Oh, it was right up my alley. So let's get started. Let me show you our card. So we're gonna make this fun fold today, and look, we're gonna create our own scene that fits right in. I know scene cards are so popular right now, especially with designer series paper, but we can make some of those fun scene cards with stamps, ink, and paper, and they are absolutely beautiful. So let me move this aside. I'm gonna bring in my grid paper here, and let's get started making this fun, right? So there's a couple of ways, let me bring this back in. There's a couple of ways to do this scene. You can absolutely stamp individual pieces of basic white, but what I found was easier and even better was to use a full strip and cut it down after we stamp. So that's what we're gonna do today. As always, let me put this up. You can find all the measurements for today's card, all of the parts and pieces, the step-by-step instructions, supply list, all of that is on my weekly Buzz Bulletin email that I send out. You can sign up for that on my blog at stampingqueenbee.com. That way you don't have to write anything down and you can just crafty enjoy all the fun, right? Okay. So let's start. We're gonna be using some soft colors today. So we've got soft seafoam. We're gonna be using smoky slate and a little bit of secret sea. So let's start with our soft seafoam here. And we're gonna do those beautiful cattails. I had to look up what the name of those were. I knew where they grew. I knew what they look like, but I had to look up the name. Do you ever do that? We have all these great flowers and plants, right? So I'm just gonna stamp these all the way across, and I am just going to alternate, so kind of varying the heights a bit, up and down all the way across so that it looks really like they were growing, right? So we're just going to stamp these. Isn't this soft seafoam pretty? It's one of my favorite colors. I know it doesn't always get used often, but it is so soft and beautiful. Super pretty. Okay, so a few more. We're just gonna go right across. And then I'm gonna grab my Secret Sea ink. There we go. Isn't that pretty? So we've got now this beautiful scene, right? So now I'm gonna grab Secret Sea ink and our small dragonfly stamp. And so then we're just gonna add some dragonflies like they were flying all through our little scene here. And maybe one kind of off the page. There we go. So now we have, 5 of our dragonflies with Secret Sea just stamped across. So now we've got this great layer that creates this pretty scene for us, right? So I'm gonna grab my trimmer, and this is where we're gonna cut it down. So I'm just gonna bring this in, and so we wanna make sure that we keep our pieces in order when we're doing this, but we're just gonna cut it down at 2.5, okay? And I'm just gonna set this, so we're gonna keep them in order, and then another 2.5. There we go. Keeping it in order. And then we have our third piece for our panels there. So that's gonna make it really easy when we put this together. Oh, I just put my trimmer away and we're gonna need it once more. So for our base here, I've got just a standard half sheet of cardstock scored in half, just like normal, but for this fun fold, we're gonna actually score it once more. So we've got it scored at our halfway mark at 5.5, but we're also gonna score one of the sides at 2 3/4. So we have that kind of that extra score line there, okay? So then we're just gonna grab our bone folder and let's fold this in half, just like normal, right? And then it becomes this fun fold. There we go. When we fold this piece back. So we're just gonna fold this back, make sure it's all lined up here, and score that real good. So now we have our card opening sort of like a backward Z, right? Can't really call it a Z fold, but a backwards Z fold. So then we're gonna take our liquid glue, and that's where our 3 pieces are gonna come in. So our biggest piece is gonna go here on the right, and we're just going to center that on that right panel. Aren't those dragonflies so cute? Okay, then we're going to add this middle piece to our middle panel, and that's why you want to keep these in order so that it's like a seamless look, right? And then our left panel will just go, this will actually end up being our front panel, but it'll be our left panel while this is open. So we have all those attached, and then when we close this up, we have this beautiful scene. Isn't that fun? Super easy, right? Okay, so I'm gonna set this aside, and I'm gonna bring in some DSP. So this is the 6x6 DSP, the subtles, and we've got all those beautiful colors, right? Those light kind of pastel-y colors. And so I have that same soft seafoam in this print. So it's got the flowers on the back, and it's got this awesome speckle. And so for this, I'm gonna use some smoky slate with that scallop stitched stamp, the biggest one. There are 2 in this set. So we're just gonna inky this up and stamp that down. Isn't that pretty? Oh, it's so cute. I see so many designs with this, just this image and the die that cuts that out. It's just so beautiful. Okay, so we've got that. I die cut that out using those dies. I just did that ahead to save us a little time here. And then I have another piece. So this is the smaller, so the bigger scallop die cut this one out, and then the smaller one I cut out also of our smoky slate. And I'm gonna bring my secret C back in for our sentiment, and we're gonna make a fun thank you card. So with sincere thanks. With sincere thanks. So we're just gonna stamp that right in the center there. And let's put some of this together. So this is just going to get adhered to the center of our beautiful scallop here, right? There is a stamp that does the center of this one, but using them together, it was a little busy. So that's why I just did the solid one for the center there. So now I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals. We're going to close this up. This is going to be our piece that's going to go right there in the center. So we want dimensionals just on this left part because we don't want to seal our card closed, right? So what I like to do is just flip that over, and then I just grab my dimensionals, and you can easily just kind of follow that line, right, of our, that line of our card there, and that way you know it won't go over. So I'm just going to put one more here. Stick the backings in my little bowl there, then they don't go all over, right? Okay, and then we'll just line this up in the center. And now our card, you can see there's no adhesives there, so it won't stick closed. And now our card can be displayed like that on like a mantle card, right? You could write your message here, you could write it on the inside, or however you like. But we want to do a little bit more decorating. So I actually went ahead and die cut from our dies here. We have these beautiful flowers. And so I went ahead and, you know, I always love to do a bunch of die cutting when I get a set. And so this is peach pie. So this flower die here cuts out 2 flowers, small and large. And so I went ahead and die cut those for us out of peach pie. And so we're gonna need a bunch of these flowers. See, we have the larger ones. We have the smaller ones here. There we go. And we're just gonna put these on, kind of on our cattails here. So we'll just give a little dot of glue on each little area there. And we're just gonna start adding these along our scene. Aren't those cute? I think they're so cute. Okay, let's do one smaller one here in the corner here. You can really put them anywhere, right? And let's do our 2 on the front here. So we want a large one. And a smaller one. So just a couple little dots of our liquid glue is perfect for these. And then let's do our middle panel here. So for this one, you may need to bend this back to get this little one in over here. Okay, and then let's do this one right there. So it's kind of a little hidden one there, right? So we have 7 of those flowers just right along in there. Cute, so cute. All right, well now it's time to put together some of our dragonflies. So there are a couple of pieces of larger dragonflies. So these are the wings. This is a die. And I die cut these out of that same soft seafoam DSP. So we're gonna need 2 of these. So we'll have 2 of our wings there. And then there is a body, a dragonfly body. So you can see I've already die cut 2 of those. And that is out of our glimmer paper, our Peaceful Gardens glimmer paper. There's a silver, a blue, and what I call secrecy. It's like a dark blue, right? And so I used this to die cut the body of our dragonflies just to give a little bit of fun spritz and sparkle, right? Okay, so then I'm just gonna put a dot of glue on each of the centers of those wings. And then I'm just gonna take the little body and stick it right to that center. Takes just a second. There we go. So then you have your body connected to your wings. Don't want to have them unconnected, right? Okay, so let's do the second one. And then we're going to put these on mini dimensionals. And so what I like to do is just grab my roll, and then I know I have 2, so there's 2 mini glue dots right there. And so I'll just tear that off, and then I'll take my little dragonflies, and right at the biggest part of the body is where I'm just gonna set these right on to my mini glue dots. And then they become like stickers, right? So you can just pop these off, and we're gonna add them to our scalloped piece here. So we've got 2 of those, just like so. And that is our card. We're of course gonna add some bling, but isn't that just a beautiful scene that we've created? So I'm gonna come in with my rhinestone basic jewels. These are one of my favorite embellishments because they can be anything. So number one, they go with anything just as is, but you can also take your Stampin' Blends and color them any color you want with the Stampin' Blends because it's alcohol marker. It won't rub off. So super fun to do that. So we're gonna take one of our the biggest rhinestones, and that's gonna go just right in the center of our sentiment there. And then our teeny tiniest rhinestones, we're gonna use in each of our flower centers. They fit absolutely perfectly. It's like it was made for that. And so we're just gonna put these into all of our flower centers here. This one, we gotta fold it back to get this one, like a hidden gem back there. And then of course our two on our front panel. So isn't this a fun way to do a scene card? I love our designer series paper, but it's so fun when we can make a scene, build a scene using just stamps, ink, and paper, right? And a little fun fold in there for us as well. So I hope you love today's card. I know I had so much fun being with you all. Let me pop this on. There we go. And I can just say thank you again for watching, for liking, subscribing. That allows me to reach new followers and continue to do these fun videos, provide those free PDFs for you each week and all the things. So thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.